Hi, guys. I actually think I have started a live in the wrong area, so I'm going to flip over to the original one. And give me 1 second here. Okay. Give you guys a few minutes to filter in from the other one. And there we go. Okay. So, as we are getting started here, I have a few questions that came in beforehand. I don't know if you guys will have any questions today or anything, but I did have some come in beforehand that I can answer for you guys while we're waiting for everybody to come up. And I can always answer them again if they come up again, if you guys aren't in here and you catch it after. So, the first question that came in was, do I have a trail name yet? And I keep forgetting to list it on there or talk about my trail name because I guess I don't say my own name very often or talk about myself in third person. So, yes, I do have a trail name now. I started out without one. I just introduced myself as Ashley. And as time progressed, I was offered a few of them. None of them really felt right, though. So somebody offered me flirt because I just talk to everybody. I'm very friendly. I'll flirt with the dogs if necessary. It's for me, it's not flirting, it's just being friendly. But that one didn't feel right. So I said no to that one. There was a kid on trail that was asking about my socks. I had darn tough socks on, and they had a raccoon eating peanut butter and jelly on there. And he said, "What's on your socks?" And so he said, "Oh, well, your trail name is Raccoon now." And that one didn't feel right either. So I said no to that one. I think there was a couple more. And then I believe when we were in the Smokies, Wacky actually suggested Puddles as my trail name. And I like that one. So that is the one that stuck. And so the story behind that is I start out by telling people I mean I love hiking as long as I have somewhere dry to go. I really love hiking in the rain, especially if it's raining kind of hard and the trail turns into a river a little bit and my feet and up to my ankles go into the water. That just feels so good on my feet and ankles. And so I like to hike through puddles. And but the real reason is if you watched from the beginning, on the second night or third morning, I peed in my tent and I missed the place I was trying to pee, and pee got all through my tent. So that is where the name Puddles comes from. I see there's a few more of you in here. If you guys can hear me, say something in the chat. Let me know you guys can hear me. Um, so I was just answering. I saw a few of you filtered in while I was talking. I was just answering the first question that I had come in beforehand, which was, do I have a trail name yet? And that was a yes. Um, the second question came in and said they thought that Wacky was Mr. Vintage Dietitian at first, and then they were asking, how do I know Wacky from before? And um, do we or did we meet out here on trail? And I've known Wacky for quite a few years. He is not Mr. Vintage Dietitian. He is friends with Mr. Vintage Dietitian, and that is how we met. And I kind of dragged him out here on the trail. I've been wanting to do this for years now, that the Appalachian Trail has been in my mind, or something that was a goal of mine to do. And I was gonna do it by myself. I was gonna do it alone because I didn't know anybody else that would want to do it. And so we talked about it. And I asked him the one day and I said, have you ever hiked the Appalachian Trail? Do you know anything about the Appalachian Trail? And he said, no, but I would like to someday. And I said, okay, cool. We leave in April. I know you have nothing else going on. So you're going to come with me on the Appalachian Trail. And so we are out here, just kind of getting everything together. Hey, Julie. That's great. I mean, not your face, but it's great to see your name. Do I feel like I'm getting physically stronger now that I've been hiking quite a few weeks? No. That's an interesting question and one that I thought I would be getting stronger when I came, like, planned to come out here. I know I miss home so much. I miss you guys. Um, when I came out here, originally my thought was, okay, I am going to start out with 8 miles a day because at home I can do 8 miles a day, no problem. I do it often in my little neighborhood. I'll hike 8 miles a day with my full pack on, no issue. So my plan originally was I'm going to hike 8 miles. I'm going to feel like I can keep going, but I know I need to stop and pace myself. And then eventually I'll get up to 12 miles. And maybe after a few weeks, we could even do 15. I don't know. That felt like it might be pushing it for me, but um, really thought I would be there. And I really thought by now I'd definitely be at least at 12. Instead, what has happened for me is I'm slowing down actually. I don't feel like I'm getting stronger. I feel like I'm getting a little bit weaker over time, which is why we have kind of adjusted things in this hike, kind of for me to be able to continue and not have to quit. Um, with these conditions that I have, and I've talked about it on the channel, and several of you from home who know me might know this. Julie, I don't know if we've talked about it yet, but I was diagnosed shortly before coming out here with Ehlers-Danlos, the hypermobility one, lipedema, and lymphedema, which I didn't think too much of it. I was so focused on getting ready for the trail that I didn't really look at and focus on the possible limitations of what this could bring. So originally, my plans, were to keep increasing and doing all this stuff. And then I looked at recommendations after I started kind of slowing down and noticed my body was not reacting like everybody else's body and like I expected it to. And so the recommendations for people with these conditions are first to, when you start out exercising, start out very, very low, like 5 to 10 minutes a day. If you're going to hike, you should do small amounts, like short amounts, and you should do gradual, kind of nice, easy terrain, and don't do it in the heat. And make sure that you're getting breaks in between and giving yourself time to recover for in between, and really more the recommendation is more low impact exercise than something like a through hike. This through hike is none of those. We're hiking in the heat. The terrain is hellacious half the time. You can't just go for a short period of time if you're going to through hike. And so what I have noticed though is, although I am not getting stronger, if you guys have been watching the videos, you have seen, well, Wacky's not here. He's actually at Mass, Saturday evening Mass. He is getting a lot stronger, which is amazing. And that will bring me to another question that I got asked a little bit in a little bit here. He is getting a lot stronger, and his mileage is going up, his time, like his pace is going up. So he's really thriving in this, which is awesome. Um, so we've kind of adjusted how we're going to hike, and you'll see that in upcoming videos. Right now, the videos are a little bit delayed. I'm on a 1.5 to 2 week delay. So I think the last one you saw was when we were in Hot Springs. And there's been some major changes to our hike since a few days after that video. Which I guess brings me to the third question that was sent in. Excuse me. And that was, when I see other hikers that are able to do more than me and that are getting stronger and I am not, does that make me jealous or resentful or anything like that? Which I guess is a good question, sort of, but no. Um, I am like, I guess this kind of goes back. I've been asked that question about some other things as well. And my philosophy, I think, is if you feel like someone else's light is brighter. So let's say I'm going to use Wacky for, I don't know why I'm pointing over here like he's there. He's not there, but um we'll use him as an example. If I see him in his hike and his light is shining brighter than my light in the hiking space, my light doesn't get any brighter by putting his out. Like, I am thrilled for the people that can do more and who are getting stronger and their bodies are healing themselves. And like, I'm so happy for them. I am jealous. Like, there's a little bit of that, like, happy jealousy, I guess, where I look at them or I look at him and I think, man, I wish my body was doing that. And it just isn't. So that's something I have really had to also adjust with my brain to. Oh, lipedema unfiltered. It's great to see you here. So you're saying, I know it's hard to feel the limitations. I'm so proud of you for doing this. Adjusting is great. Progress it isn't always loud. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And something probably you're familiar with too is this shift in mindset, because a lot of this, and you guys are seeing in the earlier videos too, and you'll see some because it is an up and down. It's a very emotional journey through all of this, just a through hike in general, not just the way it's happening for me. For everybody, it's emotional. I am really trying to adjust my brain instead of being disappointed in myself or like feeling embarrassed about how my body's going or angry or, all those negative feelings that are coming with not meeting the expectations that I had before starting out. I'm really trying to focus on being grateful for how far my body is taking me. If I can do 6 miles, I'm so grateful that my legs have taken me 6 miles. And thinking about, I think talking to other people from home or that aren't doing a through hiker or not backpackers and hikers, it is that part's a little uplifting because you talk to them and they're like, I could never do that. The what you're doing is amazing. I can't imagine that. So I guess that makes me feel a little bit better too when I am looking at myself compared to people who don't hike instead of comparing myself to the people who are out here who have already done it and have just really crushed it and done amazing with it. Um, yeah, I agree. The mindset shift. I could have gotten in trouble trying to do a tongue twister with that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And if any of you guys are looking for information, what I should do also is probably at some point, not on the live, but in one of the videos, show you what lipedema actually looks like, at least on myself. But if any of you guys are here or curious about it, Lipedema Unfiltered has great information on her channel for anybody that wants a little bit more or wants to learn a little bit more about it or see how she's doing with it as well. Because all of these experiences are it's amazing to learn from each and every different person who's had these things. You start seeing commonalities and you're like, okay, hey, I'm not alone. This is like, it's not normal, certainly not normal, but I'm not the only one who has this. And this particular symptom is normal within this or this or this. So she is a great person to learn from. Hey, Paula, how's it going? Thank you. I'm really trying to adjust with the attitude on it. It really is helpful too. Um, so I guess I tend to word vomit and talk really fast and go all over the place. So if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in there. Um, I didn't write the questions down. That was a mistake. I should have written down what you guys messaged me with and asked. Um, Somebody had asked in one of the comments of the videos that I did not answer yet. I haven't had a chance to answer the last couple days of videos. Um, am I going to keep going? Am I stopping in might have been you, unknown Texan, if I'm remembering correctly. Am I stopping in Pennsylvania? Um, so also great question. Again, we've kind of had a major change in how we are doing things here. And I do plan on continuing for the whole trail. However, I'm doing what I'm calling a Morse code, and I'm doing little dots and dashes. I mentioned before that Wacky is doing amazing. He's able to start crushing 14 miles, 15 miles in a day. And that's just not in the cards for me. I did 11 miles the other day, and at 7, I felt amazing. It was awesome. By the time I was done with 11, I was pretty done. My body was I was very fatigued, very tired. My feet and ankles were screaming. And so I think under 10-mile sections I can do. Anything above that for me is going to have to either be an overnight, excuse me, or I'm going to have to skip that section. And so, what we have decided to do now, because, and you'll see, I'll give you guys in the live get a little bit of a spoiler or things. You guys get the information ahead of time. A day or two after Hot Springs, the latest Hot Springs video that you saw, Snowbird had to go home for a family function situation. She had a funeral to go to that she needed to go to. So she was home and was taking care of a few other things. So she was home for several days. Wacky and I decided to go back home to get his vehicle since we knew she would be gone for an extended period of time. We went back and got his vehicle and brought it back. So now, and we have jumped ahead of her, and she wants to do the whole thing and concurrently, which is amazing and awesome. She is back on the trail and crushing it again. She's doing great. We keep in contact and everything. But in order for Wacky to be able to finish his through hike, and since I'm the one who dragged him out here, I feel I kind of owe it to him to get him through this a little bit. He doesn't feel that way, but I do. But what we're doing is I'm planning out the sections. I'm mapping them out. And if there's a section where there are 6 miles or 8 miles or 9 miles, I will hike those. And if there are longer miles, then I'll just skip those days and I might do some shorter hikes in there. I'll find some other things to do. I know recently there was a 26-mile stretch between parking spaces because we both have our vehicles. And that would take me 3 to 4 days to complete. For him, it was only 2 days. So instead of me going out and kind of holding us back and putting us behind schedule, I decided he went out for the 2-day stretch. I did not. And then I hiked a little area of where we were. I hiked 3 miles in and then 3 miles back. And I did 6 miles. And then I went and found some different things to do in the area. I found some museums and other things that looked pretty cool and did some side quests. And that's, I think, what a lot of you guys will see in probably a week and a half or 2 weeks in the videos, that is where my hike has shifted. It's gone from the everyday, not everyday hiking. Obviously, I'm taking zeros and skipping back then, but at this point, that's going to be pretty frequent. The side quests are so much fun. I'm getting to know people. That's what the thing that I've loved about this trail so much is getting to know so many different people. And it's not just like a passing, hey, how are you? Good, how are you? That sort of thing. You really get to know people on a deeper level. And some of these side quests, I have been the only one on the side quest. I went yesterday to I went and explored some caverns, these caves, and I was the only one in the tour. And so my tour guide, I really got to know him, and it was just really great conversation that we had during that entire cave tour that I couldn't have had in a big group. And then I went to a museum and accidentally ended up at a winery actually on the way to the museum. it led me to it parked me in the winery when I meant to go to the museum, but I got a personal, I was the only one in the winery. So, uh, the owner's family just happened to be coming in. And so I got a private tour of the whole facility. And then I went over to the museum and I happened to be the only person in the museum. So, like, all of these things, getting to know these people on these side quests has also been just like soul fulfilling. It's been fantastic. Um, Now, will I keep making videos after that? That's again a great question because I'm not doing as much hiking. So I don't know what people have interest in seeing. If I mean, some days if I'm not doing much or if I'm just working or, that sort of thing, because I guess that's another thing on the list of things. If I'm not going to be hiking as often, or if there's going to be fewer than 2 or 3 days a week that I have sections I can hike, I might do some contract work and start making, instead of bleeding money everywhere and it's just hemorrhaging out of my accounts while we're on these things, I might work a little bit in between. So I don't know. I guess it'll depend on what people want to see. If people want to continue to see the journey, even though I am hiking less than what I was before, I'll keep making them. If people aren't really interested, then, I won't. It's, I guess that leads to another question that I had, which is, how much money am I making on this hike? Like, am I from YouTube? How much money do I make from YouTube? And I think I might make a whopping, the most I've made on one of these videos is like a whopping $9.50 or something. Most of these videos bring in about $3, $2 a piece. It's a lot more. I Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I love sharing with you guys and I love the conversations that we've had. Um, those of you like, Paula, you've been here since the beginning days. Um, I'm not making any I spend way more money on my YouTube videos than I actually end up making, but it's the relationship with you guys and the conversations we get to have between the comments and the live streams. And some of you guys, we write back and forth, we send letters and postcards, that sort of thing. So that to me is well worth the time and the effort that it takes to put these videos out. But you know, if that's not something that people are interested in, then I will start making videos again when I get home in the fall, and it'll be back to vintage content. But we'll just see. Holly said, sometimes, most of the time, it's hard to tell where you are, which way you're going. Yeah, that is very true. Most of the time, it's hard for me to tell where I am and which way I'm going. A lot of times too, because we start out going like this and then suddenly we're up here and going like this instead. We have kind of gone all over the place with it, depending on weather, depending on altitude of things, just depending on a lot of different factors. And one thing that got us there or had us sort of bouncing around was the hostel owners recommended. Like, they listened to where we were struggling and what sort of things we we're struggling with, and they're like, okay, you should, instead of starting here and going up to here, you should start here and go to here instead, because that's going to get you there faster. You're less prone to injury that way, that sort of thing. Um, so lipedema unfiltered, you said you like seeing the scenery, but also the idea of knowing what else I encounter there, shops and stuff. It's all great to see. I and I really like the idea of, like, this area here has been hit hard by Helene still. I was still a little bit blown away by how much damage there still is, and how, I don't want to say slow, because these communities are rebuilding themselves. They're doing an amazing job, but there's just a tremendous amount of damage and decimation around here. And so these communities are building themselves back up. I don't know, I kind of like featuring what they have to offer and the cool things they still have to do in this area, things that are, maybe if you're wondering whether you should stop out to one of these places, uh, Yes, these are small, family owned, privately owned businesses and attractions. And the more people stop in at them, the better they're going to do. Um, I feel like there was one more question, but I don't remember what it was. So I guess if you guys have more questions, I can answer them. If not, uh, or if you guys don't have anything to chat about, we could hang it up here. Just depends on what you guys would like to see or talk about. I will tell you, after today, I did 6 mile hike. I went and found an alpine coaster, which is like a roller coaster from on a mountain, and it just kind of gravity feeds you down. You pull the brakes if you want to slow down. You push it forward if you want to hurry up. Um, it was. I did take some motion sickness medication beforehand because I get sick even riding in the passenger seat of a car. I get motion sickness. Um, so by the second I did a 3 round loop, but by the second time I went around, it was I was starting to get a little bit nauseated. So we did that. I finished that up, came back. We got a room for this evening. Wacky wanted a room after being out for 2 evenings and to be able to shower before he went to mass. And they have a pool here. It's been the nicest pool we've had so far. And the first one, when I was going to start trying to swim and do a little bit more low impact exercise, the first pool I went to get in and it was filthy. It was so filthy. And so I said, I'm not going to, I'm not going to swim in here, which is, I guess, kind of hypocritical or ironic because I'm sleeping in shelters with mouse poop, but I didn't want to swim in a dirty pool. I guess is stupid. The second time, it was kind of chilly outside and it was so cold. So I went in for like a second and then was like, not going to happen. This time I decided I'm jumping in no matter what. And so it was cold at first, but once I got my head under it was great. I swam some laps in the pool and did some pool exercises and my hair is still a little bit wet from it. Um, but that was really great. What's been my favorite part of the adventure so far? Ooh, that is a great question. Um, so several things. First, I guess favorite part, I'm gonna list like 10 favorite things. Um, isn't there a song, A Few of My Favorite Things? These will be a few of my favorite things about this whole adventure. First is the amount of gratitude that I have for my life at home at this point. I knew that I liked my life at home. I've always been grateful for the life that I have. But being away for it for me, it's been 2 months now. What seems like so long for some people, that's not, that's like a blip in the radar. But for me, it's been so long that I've been away from home and away from my routine and away from the things that I normally do. I'm craving those things again, and I'm craving being home and just a lot of homesickness and the things that I love doing at home sickness. And I mean, let's be honest, my I miss my husband tremendously. I cried. I never cry. I cried the first weekend or second weekend because I missed him so much. So that amount of gratitude and appreciation that I have for my home life, and even more now for my marriage and my husband, has been, I think, just such a valuable part of this. The other really big thing, if it's, the actual hike part, it's been the people, the relationships that you make with these people. There's people that I talk to for 1 or 2 days in a hostel, but that conversation was so deep, and getting to know this person on such a deeper level, which seems ridiculous after a day or two. But, now we have connected through social media and we've exchanged phone numbers, several different people in the same manner. And you can't beat that. I've had that with a few people before where I get to know them for just an afternoon and a day and they become lifelong friends because you connect in such a strong manner. But out here, it's like people's guards are down a little bit and they just want to connect. And I love that so much But I've said before I came out here, I used to say, like, I hate people. I hate talking to people. I don't, when I'm at home, I could be at home and stay in my home for weeks at a time, never come out and be perfectly happy. But I think I've determined that that is not the case for being out here. I am not a people person. I don't like big crowds of people. I get very angry. I get very mean in large crowds. I get just like, oh, I can't handle it. If you know me in my regular life, you know that. But I am a person. I love getting to know people on an individual level. So just to sit down and talk to one or two people, I could do that for hours. And I it would it's amazing. I love getting to know people that way. And so I think that's another favorite part of my this adventure is that I am learning some of those things about myself, and I'm learning that when I say I hate people and I hate being around people, like it's just not that's not true. I love people. I just like them as one or two at a time. Um, ooh, my other favorite part of this adventure. Okay, here's another one. Is has come more recently, and since I've got my vehicle, and it's the other realization that I love being the support person. I think I thrive in that like number two position. I when I am like anytime I've had a job, usually you kind of start at the bottom and very quickly I end up being in some sort of a or any group that I'm a part of, anything like that. Somehow I end up in some sort of a leadership or in charge of something very, very quickly. But usually I'm not the one in charge. There's someone above me and I'm like under here a little bit. And I really, really like that. And I also really like supporting other people's dreams or situations or so being able to have my vehicle and if it's a day that I'm not hiking, I'm just dropping wacky off somewhere and there are other hikers and I can take their garbage or offer them water or something like that. I love being that person. Um I'm much more comfortable, I suppose. So I'm really finding that something that I'm thriving in is being the support guy and helping to get people where they need to go. So that's yeah, that's my other favorite part. I'm sure I could think of like 10 more other favorites, but those so far those are it. Anything else from you guys? I am right now eating. I didn't quite finish it. I made dinner and then I saw the pool and decided to go swimming instead of eating. But this evening I have, I made beef, rice, and red peppers, and it is delicious. I have my teapot here. I had my husband bring my electric teapot when he brought my vehicle, and I thought that it would work in my car to be able to make meals on nights that we weren't out and doing overnights. And it turns out that the household plug in my vehicle is only, hey, how's it going? Um, the ho- the plug in my car, the household plug is only like 110 or 220 watts. I know that I'm saying words that sound right, but I don't know if the words I'm saying are right, but I'm pretty sure they are. 110 or 220 watts, and my teapot is like 1100 or 2200 or something like that. So it would turn on and then just click right off. So it didn't work, but it does work when we stay in hotel rooms. So I was able to make my dinner without any having to start and light up my jet boil. And I think this evening, Wacky went to, I've mentioned it like a thousand times. Wacky's at Mass right now, but I think he was stopping at Hardee's for dinner for himself on the way home. And I think he's bringing me home a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi, whichever one they have, which is, I am craving one of those. So uh, I know I know they're not good for you. I know all of those things. I just love the taste of it. I'm a little bit addicted. So whenever I have the chance to have one, I'm gonna have one. Um, but yeah, I think most of that. Oh, did I answer the question about when I'm if I'm stopping in Pennsylvania? I think that I did, but um I guess just to finish that, I plan on going the whole thing as long as Wacky plans on continuing. I plan on continuing and going and doing like the day hikes where I can when it's available. And so I should continue this until I have to be back at the end of October for some things I have going on with our antique business. But I plan to continue through that unless God takes me off the trail for some other reason. If one of us gets like severely injured and can't continue, then I guess we'll be off trail. But other than that, we plan to go the whole way. Um, and yeah, I think that's most of the questions answered. Mhm. I hope you guys are all doing well. I know that we have been chatting, hey, uh, a lot less. This, for those of you who are normally, who have joined my lives before, who have been here for the vintage cooking and clothing, that sort of thing. It's been a lot less conversation back and forth. It's been more, me on the videos instead of live streaming, actually getting to hear from you guys. So I do really miss that. I miss the back and forth and hearing how you guys are doing. And so I think maybe I'll try to incorporate a little bit more of that here and there. Or, if uh, a few of you have written letters and things and sent packages, that sort of thing, which depending, you'll see I ended up going home at one point, you'll see in the videos. So I was able to get some of the stuff that you guys sent that way. But if you guys want to send letters or anything, or if you want me to send you a postcard, like send me an email with your address in it. If you want a postcard from the trail, I'll send you one. We can be little pen pals. That's kind of fun. Hey, yeah, unknown Texan. I think you were the one who asked the question. Did you ask how far I was going, if I was going to stop at Pennsylvania? I saw it in the comments in the video and I haven't answered those comments yet. But I did just answer that question. So I hope you heard the answer. Okay. I thought that was you. Um, so did you hear the answer to the question or would you like me to answer it again? I don't mind. I'm a talker. So and if anybody has other questions too, you guys can. I think some of you are kind of coming in now a little bit later, so I see more people joining. Okay, so my answer to that question is backs up a little bit in that the videos that you guys are seeing are like 1.5 to 2 weeks behind. So a lot has happened in the time since the last hot springs video. And one of the things that happened is that Snowbird had to go home for a funeral. And so she was going to take care of some things on her vehicle, get some other things going on as well. She's going to be gone about a week. So Wacky and I decided to drive back to Pennsylvania, get his vehicle, and come back here. That put us ahead of her. So now it's just the two of us hiking again. Because of that, and because he is doing tremendous, like he is just absolutely crushing it out here. And I am not. It is crushing me a little bit. So we've determined he can do about double the miles that I can do in a day. I plan to continue with him the whole time, as long as both of us are out here and neither of us get injured. God doesn't take either one of us off the trail. I'm in it for the long haul. If there are sections that between parking spaces that I can do under 10 miles, I will hike those days. If not, then I will find some other side quest things to do. I'll hike maybe in, like today, I just did. He had 26 miles to do in 2 days. So where I had dropped him off, I hiked in a little over 3 miles, I believe, and then came back. And so it was somewhere near between 5 and 6 miles, I think, that I hiked today total. That's kind of what's working for me at this point. And then I went and found a few other side quests to do. So that is how it's going to look in the future. And I said too, if people still want to see that, great. I'll keep making videos. If people are like, you're not really doing the trail anymore, and a hike actually should look like, then, I will start making vintage cooking and clothing videos again when I get home in the fall. But I plan to continue. We'll go as far as he can make it in until the like endish of October. So hopefully we are definitely way past Pennsylvania by then based on his schedule. All right. Anybody else have questions or anything they want to bring up and talk about? It's been a heck of a ride so far. It's been I started out bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to conquer this thing, and then very quickly realized the stuff I medically have going on, it just wasn't going to happen for me. And so I've been able to adjust my mindset and just kind of the nice thing is, some of you guys have seen the comments and I've gotten messages and some other things that are a little less encouraging. Um, oh, no Bigfoot. So that was the other question. Have I had, sorry, I'm bouncing around here. That was the other question I forgot about. Have I had any interesting Appalachian experiences yet? And up until very recently, I would have said no. And I don't think I experienced Bigfoot, but the last overnight that Wacky and I did, I expected that I was going to be able to do like at least 10 miles, maybe 12, but I had started putting my compression, I have compression, like medical compression leggings on. I put those on and I went and bought ankle braces because I thought, maybe that'll help. And they felt really good at first. And I tested them out with the new compression leggings on the first day of this overnight that we did. And I made it 7 miles and that like I couldn't keep going. My body was like, you are done. You're finished. We're not going anymore. It was supposed to rain really hard that night. And I realized like my body was done, not like, oh, hey, we're done now, but we can maybe do a bunch more tomorrow. What Wacky and I decided at that point was where we were in a camping area and I would stay in camp. He would keep going 3 or 5, I don't know how many more miles to the shelter moving forward. And then the next day, there was like an out of a side trail from where I was. The next day, he would go back to the car, get his car, and come and get me at that parking area. And it was supposed to torrentially downpour that night. And he's like, do you want me to stay? I don't feel right leaving you. And so, of course, I'm like, dude, I was going to do this thing on my own. I think I can handle sleeping in a tent by myself. Like, just chill, go ahead. So he goes ahead and he goes, and I'm in my tent, and it's like 7 o'clock. I'm falling asleep, and I have my phone and I have my charger, and I just happen to have service there. So I talked to my husband. I was scrolling a little bit, answering your guys' comments and catching up with all the videos, comments on the videos. And I realized my phone was at like 40% and I use white noise at night. So I thought, okay, I'm going to plug this back in. And my charger had just been, it had 3 out of the 4 dots left, but it was almost fully charged. And it had been charging. I had like half charged my phone a little bit earlier in the day. I went to pick up my phone and it was or the charger and the charger was completely dead. And I'm like, that's really weird. And it had just started getting very dark at that point. And I'm like, that's weird. That's concerning. Why did all of the power and energy suddenly drain out of this thing? And I have a weird electronic energy field, whatever. I've a weird thing with electronics. Things happen. Um, but I'm laying there and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just lay here instead and I just won't turn on my white noise. So maybe I won't sleep that well, but that'll be okay. It's going to rain soon anyway. All of a sudden, right after that, and it's pitch black at night, I'm the only one out there. I start hearing people like, but a group of people, multiple people, they're laughing, they're kind of like talking, but I can't hear the actual voices. But it was definitely like people noises, and it was definitely a group of them, and it was coming from an area where it was not the trail. And I was like, that's really weird. Um, but I'm just trying to be in my tent and be cool with it. And then all of a sudden, I hear a woman screaming, like screaming. And I'm like, okay, is that a bobcat? Is that an owl? Is that a fisher? Like, I don't know what's in these areas, but that's weird, very weird, accompanied by the voices that I was hearing, accompanied by the laughing, like I heard laughing, and then I started hearing like yipping, almost like dogs, but it wasn't, because I'm like, well, there's a group of them. Could it be coyotes? Because we have coyotes where I live. I hear them almost every night in, like, if I open my bedroom window or my kitchen window, I hear coyote. But usually when they're in a group, there's like one here, and they're talking to each other. This sounded like a group that was together. So it was just a strange combination of, all of a sudden my power's gone. I'm hearing all of those noises. And so I literally just sat in my tent and prayed. So I'm like, nothing can come and get me. Um, Nothing will be able to pass through here. But then all of that, after I prayed really hard, it stopped. And then I did hear after that from the opposite end, closer to my tent, what sounded like a baby bear. This one sounded like an actual animal, like a baby bear crying out, or it could have been anything. I don't know. That one I wasn't scared about because I knew it was an actual animal. But the other one, I have no idea what I was hearing. I tried to record it. I got my phone out and tried to record it, but I did have my white noise turned on at that point. I just didn't know that I had it turned on because I had the volume down on it. So when I tried to record the noises that I was hearing, all it was white noise in the background. Um, but so that was my experience. And after that, the around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, it started torrentially downpouring. It was like 1 to 2 inches, I think, that it got within a few hours. The whole inside of my tent was covered in water. It was a very unnerving, very wet night. That one sucked. But then it made days like today just seem so much better when you have those really sucky experiences, the terrifying experiences, and then the wet ones. And then you have to pack all your wet gear up, and it's pounds extra that you're carrying out. Because the next day, Wacky was supposed to pick me up, and that's a whole separate story. I decided to start going down the mount, like the road, the mountain road, and uh yeah, it was really heavy. I was trying to save him some time, and it ended up working out. Somebody gave me a ride to my vehicle, and I got to drive my vehicle to his, and he didn't even have to come pick me up. It was that's a whole separate thing. Again, just all such interesting things that are happening out here, and in such different ways too. Ah, so anyhow, yeah, I think I had some sort of a weird Appalachian, some kind of uh, what are they called? Haints, or I don't know what the different names of what these things are called. I don't think it was Bigfoot. Bigfoot could have decimated me, so no Bigfoot yet. There was that weird knocking that one time though. Who knows? Was that Bigfoot knocking? I don't know. I can't say that I don't believe in Bigfoot. I I don't know that I do believe in Bigfoot, but I do believe that it's not a total impossibility. We have, at this point, our military has admitted to seeing things and unidentified objects and whatnot. There's probably aliens out there. So is Bigfoot that big of a stretch of the imagination? I don't know. Um, There could be. I mean, this is the Appalachias. Um, I know they always happen when you're alone. Always. It's like they know you're alone and they want to freak you out. But and in the time, like, I have mixed feelings about it because I'm like, and you're terrified. Your body is terrified, your mind is terrified, but then at the same time, I'm like, what can happen to me? God is on my side. They can't do anything to me, but it doesn't stop my body from reacting and being absolutely terrified. I did say I will not sleep in a tent out in the woods alone ever again. I mean, I probably will, but At this point in time in my life, no. I'm never staying alone out in the woods again. Not after that. Oh, there have been sightings, Bigfoot sightings in my area where I live in rural Western Pennsylvania, in that kind of place. I believe there have been several, what if in the Bigfoot community is considered legitimate sightings or happenings out there. So I don't know. Are they everywhere? Are they in the Pacific Northwest and the Appalachias and in Western Pennsylvania and in Canada? I don't know. There's cats everywhere. Why couldn't they be everywhere? Knocks, terrible smell, and sudden quiet. Okay. Definitely the knocks. I don't know the terrible smell that I mean, I've smelled some terrible things, but probably not the same terrible smell. I'll keep my eyes out though. But yeah, not going out there at night alone. Although I guess is Bigfoot usually a night sighting or a day sighting kind of thing. I'm never afraid during the day. It's always at night that I'm afraid. But I should probably be paying attention all the time. Usually I am, but uh not to things like that, I suppose. The noises are cool though. I have listened to music and audiobooks here and there. I listen to them on these glasses because it leaves my ears open. Like it just plays kind of, I guess, on the bone maybe and puts it in, but then I can still hear. So I do like that. But most of the time I don't have anything. I'm not listening to anything. I'm just kind of walking and listening to the woods and the birds and the today I heard a lot of bees. There's a lot of rhododendron here in this area, and oh my gosh, it's beautiful, beautiful. It's all through from the time we've been started out in Georgia, the mountain laurel and the rhododendron. But now that we're getting into June, it's starting to bloom, and you can hear the bees, and there's butterflies everywhere. It's pretty awesome. We've kept bees before at our home, and so just when I hear them, it just I have such a positive association with it. It makes me really happy. Mm. But yeah, based on the way that we're hiking now, I don't think I'll have too many overnight scary things happening. Even at home, I guess at my house, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, and if I were to stay outside in my own yard at night, would I be afraid? I don't know. I know I'm not afraid in the house, but I could be afraid if I went outside. I haven't tried it too often. Not alone, at least. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Any other thoughts or things? Oh, you're seeing butterflies and oh, hummingbirds. I love that. Do you get many hummingbirds? I know usually it seems like if you start out with a couple, once a few learn that there's something there to eat, then more and more seem to keep coming, and you end up getting swarms of them, and they're so cool looking. I know my in-laws, they have all sorts of hummingbirds that come, uh, and I think each year that I visit, I feel like you guys have more and more. I think Debbie, if you're there, hi. Uh, How much money is the budget for the hike? That is also a great question. Originally, I budgeted about $2,000 a month. So, um, and that would have been, I was expecting 6 to 8 months. So I've known I'm going to do this for a while. I've been banking money for a while, and I had all that set aside. Well, the budget is probably a lot higher now that we have our vehicles and we're going to staying in hotels a little bit more often, that sort of thing. Now, these are not like high-end nice hotel rooms. These are like $80 a night motels that we're splitting between the two of us. But um yeah, the budget, I guess I don't really have a budget anymore, especially Erica, if I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you're here earlier, based on the way we're doing things now, if I find that there's only a couple days a week that I have sections I can hike, I will start doing contract work again. So I'll start, instead of like bleeding money on this, I will try to start banking a little bit more and at least making enough to pay for what I'm doing along the way. Because contrary to popular belief, YouTube does not make people very much money, at least not my size of viewership. I might make a couple dollars a video. I think I said earlier, the most I've made in any of these Appalachian Trail videos so far is like, it's under $10. It's like 9 something. So usually I'm making 2 or $3 each video. Um, how do I coordinate care packages with my husband? You were wondering about that. So before, great question. Before this, I had made every single one of my care packages. I calculated every single day what I would be eating, to make sure I had enough protein, fiber, all that stuff. And I got the care packages ready ahead of time. And then before, at the beginning of the hike, what we were doing was I would let him know where I was going to pick it up like a week or two in advance. So if I knew I was going to be in an area, I would have him like at a hostel or something. I would have him send it there and then I would just pick it up there. But once I got my vehicle, I ended up just having him put, like, I don't even know how many care packages that I had set aside. I had him just put all of those in the back of my car when he brought it so that I don't need him to send it anymore. And he had already planned on coming to visit a couple times. He'll be coming to visit me again in a few weeks, I believe, and he'll bring a few more care packages down with him. And that way we don't have to worry about sending them, which actually saves a lot of money in the budget because each one of those, it was a 3-day supply. So every one of those boxes for 3 days to send was $25, somewhere around $25 every 3 days that we were having to spend to send it down. So I guess maybe the money that we're spending in gas is not quite so bad. Although you guys saw, I spent a little over 2 grand on brakes, rotors, and calipers, but I mean, that wasn't the fault of the trail, hiking the trail. I would have had to do that anyway. But yeah, that's how we've coordinated so far previous to that. Uh, you had a green and a yellow hummingbird? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a yellow hummingbird. Huh. Well, now that I say that, I feel like I can't remember what a hummingbird looks like other than small with a giant beak. But that is really cool. Wow. Did they ever get near you? Like, do they fly and come close to you or anything, or do they kind of stay away? Um, I feel like after a few years, some of them get a little bit friendly and they'll come, they'll get a little bit more bold and come closer to you, which is really cool. Um, yeah, I really like the content. I can't say like it's not my very favorite thing to do. Like it's not like I'm saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get home and edit" or anything like that. But the conversations and the relationship that we kind of build, which I know sounds kind of strange because like, I'm a face online, a face and a voice. It's not like we all know each other. Um, we don't sit down to coffee I mean, some of you guys I know in my regular life, so we do. But the rest of you guys, I've just been kind of talking to for the last few years on this. And I kind of love that. So it's it's worth it to me to do the content and all that stuff to get to know you guys a little bit better and talk to you. And I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I like that. I guess, yeah, there's another check in the point where I do love persons. I do love people, just not big. If the whole big group of you, if I saw all of you at one time at a giant function, I might be like, let's take a couple of you at a time and talk to you and get to know you. That would be much better. Um, but yeah, it's totally worth it to me as long as I'm getting to know you guys, I guess. Um, that's such a great question, Erica. What made me want to do this hike? I don't to answer your question, I do and I don't know. Before I got the bug, I loved hiking and all of that, like everything related to it. I live in between, like there's Cook Forest here and Clear Creek Forest and Allegheny National Forest right all in my backyard. And I love that part. But I thank you so much. Um, I never really considered camping or like sleeping outside, anything like that. And in I think it was 2019, it something about it just bit me. And it's the same thing with the when I started the 52 Sunday dinners. It's not something originally that I thought, okay, I want to do this. It's something that I really think that God sent me out to do. And it's something that never, no matter what, it's been what at this point, 5, 6, 7 years that I had planned on doing this. And it never went away, never went away, never went away. And so I genuinely think it was God sending me out to do this hike, which is, I think he's the one that made me want to do it. But then I watched so many other people do it. And there's some people that I watched in 2019 when it started, and I still watch their videos today. But to do it again, um, I don't think I'll ever do another big through. I mean, I'm not actually doing a through hike of the Appalachian Trail at this point, the way I'm doing it. I I would really like to do a Camino, the Camino del Santiago. There's all sorts of places in Europe that it goes through. So would I do something like the Pacific Coast Trail or the North Country goes almost through my backyard, that sort of thing? No, I wouldn't do that again. But I would do the Camino where you kind of hike from inn to inn and do it that way because I think at this point I've determined I love hiking. I don't know that backpacking is for the current body that I am in right now, with just the way my mobility is. I just don't think that's in the cards for me. You're at the beach in South Texas, and a prairie dog came up to your chair. It waved for a chair. Oh my gosh! Oh, I'm just picturing it. I can't imagine. Did you get that on video or a picture or anything of that? Ah, what a great memory. Yeah, your grandparents' generation loved mayonnaise a lot, like, in everything, a lot. Ah, I'd love to see that picture. That's incredible. What an experience. I guess I don't really think, I guess you guys in South Texas, probably prairie dogs are nothing to you. It's probably totally normal, but, I always forget about them, that they're here in the US. I think about them in, more southern countries, that sort of climate. I don't even think about them out here. But oh shoot, there was something else I think I wanted to tell you guys through that. The hike, backpacking. I don't know. It's totally gone out of my head. That's what happens. I start talking and I have things I want to talk about and then I don't write them down and then they fall right out of my head from this. Um, oh, that was another question. Um, if I could do this over again, what would I do differently? And based on your question, Erica, what brought me out here? Would I do anything differently? No, I wouldn't, because I think God put me out here when He put me out here for a reason. So, regardless of how it's going for me now, I wouldn't change that because if this was the plan for me to be out here, then this was the plan, and that's what I'm here for. But if that wasn't the case, and it weren't for that, would I do things differently? Absolutely. First of all, I would have done this a few years ago when the disorders that I have had not progressed to where they are now, to the stages they are, when maybe they were in some lower stages and I had a little bit more capability and mobility. Would I have done it that way? Yes. Um, Would I, if I didn't do it that way, would I, or I probably would have decided to do sections instead of like a full through hike. Um, just based on where I'm at now, I think I could have handled some shorter sections. It would, if I ever decide to do this again, it will take me decades to complete, but I might have done it that way. The other thing that I may or wish I would have done or may have done is if I would have known the uh, cures, not that there are cures for these disorders, but the treatments for them. For lipedema, which I think is the one that's affecting me the most out here, it really does not respond to diet or exercise well. So, my top food recommendation, I guess that comes into for actually for everybody, for me and for everyone, is just eating generally healthy, like higher protein. When you're out here, you need a lot more protein. But the anti-inflammatory diet that I'm not obviously not fully anti-inflammatory. I'd say I'm like, 70% of the time. That will help. The exercise will help get rid of some of the excess weight that I have and the adipose tissue that I have. But really, the only way to get rid of the rest of this diseased fat is through a special type of medical liposuction. So I do kind of wish that I would have kind of done these in the opposite order. I would have saved the money that I saved for this through hike, and I would have done the medical liposuction first, gotten rid of all that, gotten my mobility back up, and then decided to save money again and go on the trip after that, because then I would have a lot more mobility and this might have been doable for me. Whereas at this point, that where I have progressed in these disorders, it's just not a reality for me. So I definitely would have done all of that different if I didn't feel that I was being sent out here right now in this specific time, in this specific way that I am right now. I guess to answer that question too, top food recommendation. I can't say just one out here, because if you were to eat just one type of food, it would get very boring very fast. I think just a nice combination of something, especially at like if you're going to do dinner, because the dinners that you're eating are much different than the lunches and snacks and breakfasts. Making sure that you have something that is higher in protein at night once you have stopped hiking, 100% recommend that. I have been lucky enough to have a freeze dryer to make my own food, which I said earlier. If you guys weren't on, several of you have joined recently. Um, I'm having beef, rice, and red peppers right now. Oh, thank you, Unknown Texan. When I hang up here, I am going to check out that picture and probably laugh hysterically. Um, but I was able to make a lot of my own meals, and yeah, beef, rice, and red peppers. So I've got vegetables and fiber in here. I've got a lot of lean protein. And I labeled it as beef, but I might have thrown some venison in there as well. I don't know what I put in. Um, so for me, the top food recommendation was food that I made myself and freeze dried, but commercially, it just depends on your budget, it depends on your taste, it depends on all sorts of different things. Excuse me. But for dinner time, definitely something that is higher in protein is really important. The other top food pick, I guess, would be not food at all, but fluid. That's something that I've struggled with out here quite a bit, is with like light dehydration. I'm used to drinking at home. I have no problem getting the amount of fluid I need to at home, because I just, I have a few drinks as I'm running water. I can heat something up if I want I really like Element, and I like their chocolate caramel. And I, oh, my brain just went that way. Oh, if I want to heat up some water on the stove, I can do that very quickly and just sip it out of a mug. And then when I'm done with that, I can have water, or I can, have whatever I want. I don't have a problem with that at home. I drink close to a gallon of fluid every day at home, but out here it's just been a little bit more, I don't want to say difficult. It's not like it's difficult. It just is that I'm not keeping up with it for some reason, even though I know a lot better. Even today, I didn't hike that much, but I forgot to eat breakfast in the morning. And uh, I was 3 miles in when I realized I hadn't eaten yet. And I had only had like 12 ounces of fluid to drink. And so it just, my top food recommendation is water, staying hydrated. Right. Ah, wow. We've been here for quite a while. I did not think we were here for very long, but it's already been over an hour. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions or anything like that? Anything they want to talk about or are curious about? Uh, I hear somebody's car alarm going off outside the room here. Or if any of you guys are near the trail area at all, if you have any recommendations for side quests, things that are within an hour's drive of the trail, I would love to know some recommendations from you for that. Boots or tennis shoes? I use trail runners, that's the tennis shoes. Wacky uses boots. Um, for me, the boots, I have always had a problem with boots because my cankles are, I don't even have ankles at this point. They are cankles. They don't fit properly in boots. Like they will not, the boot will not go around them correctly. So for me, trail runners the whole way, all the time. But I have heard that boots are much better for ankle stabilization. So I guess that's just a preference for whoever it is. I personally go with Hoka's. I have the speed goats. I had the sixes. I just started with the sevens, and the I don't like the sevens as much as I like the sixes. I might actually end up getting on eBay and looking up some more sixes because although I don't know that I'll be doing a ton of backpacking when I get home, I'll still be doing hiking all of the time. Um, and so it's not going to be a waste for me to buy some more shoes. So I think I'm going to get on eBay and look for some sixes again. Um, yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate. I talked about the change in mindset at the beginning for myself. Uh, at it's been the beginning of this for me. It took an adjustment to change my mindset, but at the beginning, I was really disappointing. Or I was disappointed in myself. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed, all of those things about the way that it was progressing, that I couldn't do it, that, um, you know, everyone around me was able to do way more and they were way faster. And I'm so happy. Like, don't get me wrong, so happy for them. That's awesome. I'm so glad they're able to do that. But it was hard to watch other people that are going and I cannot do it. But the support that you guys have given is it is just like it is so uplifting, and I have now been able to say like to myself and be just grateful for where I am and what I am able to do. And obviously this is when I was supposed to go and this is the body I was supposed to go in. And uh even though it doesn't look the way that I thought it should look, I'm just very grateful for that. And the support that you guys are offering is, it makes a big difference to me. I don't want to say it shouldn't, like you guys aren't important. You guys are very important to me. it sh- the outside influence shouldn't be important to me. But hearing the support from you guys really is. It does. It just makes a giant difference and I really appreciate it. Um, hey, Susan, I don't know which way to say it, so I apologize if I'm doing it wrong. Thank you. I really appreciate the all of that. Those people, those of you that are out there rooting for me, it is very helpful. And I think the prayers too. I know I have a lot of people at home that are praying for me, and I think it's helping. It's bolstering it. We're getting there's all of the positive vibes and the prayers and everything are kind of just grabbing me and pushing me up a little bit when maybe I'm not feeling like I can get out there. Uh, it's been great. And the experience has been, oh, it's been amazing. The people that I've met, the only thing that could have been better is if you guys were the ones hiking out there with me and then I could actually get to know you and meet you. So, the only thing that could have made this better, I think. Um, yes. Oh my gosh, limes. That'll wipe you right out, completely out. Mm, 100%. You just have to look at what you can do and be, well, I don't know, just kind of proud of yourself for those things. Like, you know what? I thought I couldn't do this, but look, I did it. And I'm so grateful to my body and for all of that, for being able to do that. And then I think you look at too, or at least I do. I had reached out to some different groups, the lipedema groups and lymphedema groups and Ehlers-Danlos groups, and uh, just asked for a little bit of support and encouragement from them based on how I was feeling about not being able to do as much. And hearing, no, I don't want to say that I'm glad they're not doing as much. I don't mean that at all, but hearing other people that are saying, um, right now I'm wheelchair bound, or right now I can't do this or this, makes me a lot grateful in this body to say, you know what? I At this point, I am at a time in my life where I'm able to do this, and look at what I'm able to do. This is amazing. I'm doing this. This is cool. So that has been really awesome too. Um yeah, now at this point, I think I've answered all the questions that you guys had before and that you have given while you're on here. I know I keep saying, I'm pretty sure I answered all the questions. And I remember another one that somebody sent because, again, I didn't write them down. And I have a notebook right here where I'm calculating all of our mileage and different things coming up because I need to see. I think I have the next 3 weeks planned out because I'm trying to find spots where I can get some hiking in and different things. And I know where to go for that. Oh, okay, this isn't a question that you have, but I'll answer it anyway. Um, the one big thing that I was really looking forward to was something called aqua blazing, which is there's white blaze, they call them blazes. They're like little the paint marks on the tree, and those are white, but there's something called aqua blazing. So there are certain spots along the trail where there are rivers or lakes or something that you can kayak that portion of the trail. So there's an upcoming area where we will be, excuse me, if the water is cooperative, if there's enough water for us to be able to kayak, that my plan is to aqua blaze a little portion of it. So I think that is going to be really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. That's something that I've been looking forward to since, oh my gosh, since I discovered this trail years ago. So that is very exciting. All right. I don't see any other questions rolling in, and we are at an hour and 17 minutes. Holy moly. Time flies when I'm talking to you guys. It's pretty awesome. I think at this point, I'm going to say good evening. I am going to finish my dinner that I started a little bit earlier. And I have my machine here to do manual lymphatic drainage. And I've got a regular plug in here. So I think I'm going to eat the dinner, chill out for a little while, let myself digest, and then do that and go to bed. It was really great to see you guys, or I guess not see your names and your text and talk to you guys this evening. This was wonderful. Good night, guys.